March 24, 1945. 22,000 feet above the frozen German countryside. The silence is loudest.
Oberleutnant Franz Stigler sits in his Messerschmitt cockpit. The silence screams because his Daimler-Benz engine just died.
No cough, no sputter, just sudden, violent mechanical death. The propeller blades now windmilling lazily in the slipstream. Dead stick.
Franz checks his fuel gauge. Empty. He checks altitude, dropping past 20,000 feet. He checks his mirrors.
And that's when the fear truly hits. Below him lies 50 miles of American-controlled territory.
Behind him, two silver specks closing at 400 miles per hour. P-51 Mustangs. The Cadillac of the skies.
Franz grips the cold control stick. His gloves soaked in sweat. He knows exactly what happens next.
The Americans aren't soldiers, they're cowboys, gangsters, barbarians. They turn the sky into a slaughterhouse.
Franz closes his eyes for a heartbeat. He thinks of his mother in Bavaria, the telegram she'll receive.
The roar of the Mustangs deafening now. Right on top of him. This is it. He braces.
But the bullets never come. Instead, something happens that defies every rule of war, remaining secret for decades.
The lead Mustang doesn't fire. It slides into formation, terrifyingly close, maybe 50 feet off Franz's wingtip.
The silver aluminum glints in harsh sunlight. Franz can see the rivets on the fuselage, the oil streaks.
Through the bubble canopy, he sees the pilot. Young, maybe 25, an American kid with oxygen mask hanging.
Franz stares back. His brain cannot process this. A crippled aircraft isn't a person, it's a kill statistic.
The American pilot raises a gloved hand. He points down, not a thumbs down. He points toward Earth, pushing.
Franz looks left. The second Mustang slides into position on his other wing. He is boxed in, escorted.
The altimeter unwinds through 15,000 feet. The landscape below rushing up, a patchwork of war-scarred towns.
Directly ahead, Franz sees it. An airfield. A Luftwaffe base once, now runways lined with American stars.
Green jeeps scurry like ants. Mechanics work on olive drab bombers. It is the belly of the beast.
If he lands there, he is finished. His commander's voice screams in his head. Better crash and burn!
But the Mustangs are still there, shepherding him, guiding him. The lead pilot rocks his wings gently. Follow me. Franz has no engine, no velocity to fight. He is nothing but a glider made of metal.
8,000 feet.
5,000 feet.
Franz makes his choice. He reaches for the hydraulic lever, pumps landing gear.
Thunk, thunk. The wheels lock into place. It is the sound of surrender. The Mustangs stay with him. At 500 feet, they peel away in a roaring climb, Merlin engines screaming a victory song. Franz is alone.
He lines up the silent Messerschmitt with the concrete strip. The ground rushes up, too fast. He flares.
The tires scream against the runway. The aircraft bounces once, twice, settles. He has no brakes, the hydraulic pressure gone.
The aircraft rolls and rolls, carrying the momentum of the flight until it finally shudders to a stop. Silence returns. For a long moment, Franz just sits there, hands locked on the stick, breathing jagged. He watches the jeeps racing toward him across the grass. He sees the men jumping out, rifles raised.
This is the moment. They lured him down to execute him. He reaches for the Walther pistol. But then he remembers the eyes of that pilot at 22,000 feet. There was no hate there. Franz takes his hand off the pistol. He pushes the canopy open, stands up on the wing. He raises his hands to the gray sky. The first American to reach him is Sergeant Robert Hayes from Oklahoma. Hayes climbs onto the wing. He points the gun, not at Franz's head, but at the ground.
Hayes holsters his pistol. He reaches out a hand and steadies Franz.
Easy there, buddy.
You okay? Verletzt?
The ride to the base operations building is surreal. Franz sits sandwiched between two GIs smelling tobacco.
One of them offers him a canteen. Water? Franz hesitates. Is it poisoned? He takes a sip. Cold, clean water. They bring him into an office. It is warm. There is a pot-bellied stove glowing in the corner.
Sitting behind a desk is Intelligence Officer Captain James Mitchell, a former university professor, looking more like a librarian. Mitchell places the mug in front of Franz, then a saucer next to it. On the saucer, 2 white cubes. Sugar.
Franz stares at the cubes. He hasn't seen refined sugar since 941. Germany is starving.
Franz wraps his frozen hands around the mug. The heat seeps into his bones. Mitchell says those were good pilots.
Captain Joe Henderson and Lieutenant Charlie Brennan, 357th Fighter Group. They saw your prop was dead.
Why? The word tears out of his throat. Why did they not shoot? Mitchell looks up, genuinely confused by the question.
Because you were defenseless. You had no power. The fight was over. What kind of men do you think we are? For the next hour, Franz's worldview shatters. He is processed not as a war criminal, but as a soldier.
They take his pistol, but let him keep his photos of his family. They take him to a holding area.
That evening, the door opens. It's the pilot, Captain Joe Henderson, the man who spared his life. He doesn't have a weapon. He has a carton of Lucky Strike cigarettes and a thermos of soup. Thought you might be hungry. Henderson walks over to Franz's bunk, sits down. That was some nice flying today. Dead stick in a 109 is no joke.
Henderson pulls out a wallet, shows a picture. My wife, Betty, and the kids. You got family, Franz? Franz nods slowly.
Franz pulls out his own photo. His mother, his sister. They'll be glad you made it. The Red Cross will get word.
They sit there for 20 minutes. 2 men who are paid to kill each other, sharing soup and looking at photos of people they love.
But that's not who we are. You're gonna get treated right. You have my word. When the lights go out that night, Franz lies awake.
He isn't thinking about the war or the Reich. He is thinking about the sugar cubes, the picture of Betty.
He realizes that everything he was willing to die for was a lie. And the people he was supposed to hate are the reason he's still breathing. Over the next 3 weeks, Franz becomes a witness to a weapon more powerful than the atomic bomb: decency.
The food is the same as the GIs eat. K-rations, powdered eggs, canned meat. When Red Cross parcels arrive, guards don't steal them.
Franz watches a young German pilot named Werner, shot in the leg, get treated by an American surgeon.
They use sulfa drugs, change bandages daily. In a German camp, Werner would have lost the leg. One afternoon, music drifts across the compound. A guard has set up a phonograph. Glenn Miller, In the Mood. A guard named Tommy from Nebraska sees him listening.
You like jazz, Fritz?
Yeah, Franz says.
I like.
Hang on.
Tommy runs to the guard shack, comes back with a stack of records. Benny Goodman, Artie Shaw, Duke Ellington. Knock yourself out.
For a few hours, the uniforms disappear. They are just young men who are tired of dying. This was not an accident.
The Geneva Convention was to be followed to the letter. Why? Was it because the Americans were soft? No.
They knew how to kill, but they also knew something the Nazis didn't. How you treat the enemy in defeat determines the quality of the peace.
They are fattening us up for the slaughter, Klaus hissed. Wait until the cameras are gone. They will put us against the wall.
If you treated them with dignity, showed them that democracy wasn't just a word, but a system that valued human life, then you weren't...
You are a traitor, Klaus spat. You have been seduced. I have been treated like a human being.
Klaus didn't believe him, not until he spent weeks in the hospital ward. An American nurse sat by his bed.
Through the screaming pain of his burn treatments, speaking soft words to a man who had tried to kill her countrymen.
Franz watched Klaus's hate dissolve. It didn't happen all at once, it happened slowly, eroded by 1,000 small acts of mercy.
By the time the war ended in May, Franz understood the truth. The Americans hadn't just beaten the Luftwaffe, they had beaten the ideology.
August 1945. Franz Stigler goes home. He finds Germany in ruins, his hometown a skeleton of brick and ash.
His father is dead, but his mother is alive, his sister is alive, and France is alive. He rebuilds his life.
He flies commercial airliners for Lufthansa, moves to Canada in 1961, starts a business, raises a family.
But a ghost follows him. Every night before he sleeps, he sees those two P-51 Mustangs. He sees the pilot's face.
He needs to say thank you. For decades, he searches, writes letters to military archives, places ads in veterans' magazines. Seeking the P-51 pilot who escorted a Bf-109 on March 24th, 1945. Most people tell him he's crazy.
Why do you want to find him, they ask. He was the enemy. He was my brother, Franz replies.
Finally, in 44 years later, a letter arrives from Florida. It is handwritten. Dear Franz, I think I'm the guy.
It is signed Joe Henderson. They arrange to meet in an airport terminal in Seattle. Franz is nervous.
He is an old man now. His hair is white. What if they have nothing to say? What if the magic has faded?
He sees Joe coming off the escalator. Joe is old too, walking with a cane. They stop. They look.
The terminal is crowded with travelers rushing to their gates, oblivious to the history standing in the hallway. Franz doesn't salute, doesn't shake hands.
He opens his arms. The two former enemies embrace. They hold.
Thank you, Franz chokes out. Thank reorganization for my life. Joe pulls back, looks into Franz's eyes, the same eyes he saw.
It was the right thing to do, Joe says. Simple, American. They remained best friends until the end of their lives.
They traveled together, spoke at air shows together, told their story to anyone who would listen. And the story wasn't about flying.
It wasn't about the mechanics of the P-51 or the Bf-109. It was about the choice Joe Henderson made.
We live in a cynical world. We are told that war is only about brutality, that hate is the natural state of man.
He could have pulled the trigger, would have been awarded a medal. No one would have blamed him. But he chose the harder path.
He chose to see the human being inside the machine. And look at the result. Because of that choice, Franz Stigler lived.
Because of that choice, thousands of German POWs went home believing in democracy instead of fascism.
When we treat our enemies with dignity, we don't just show them who they are. We show them who we are.
The Americans of 1945 understood that you can win a war with bullets, but you can only win a peace with humanity.
They built a bridge over a canyon of blood, constructed out of coffee, sugar cubes, and jazz records.
He told a reporter, I died on this runway in 1945. The Nazi died, the hater died, and a new man was born.
It teaches us that even in the darkest skies, when the whole world seems intent on destruction, we still have a choice. We can pull the trigger, or we can guide each other home. If this story moved you, if you believe that honor can exist even in war, hit that like button.
I'll see you in the next one.